In Job chapter 40, the Lord is continuing this revelation to Job, helping Job understand the truth better. And it's fascinating because if you really look at it, this conversation Job has had with his friends isn't a far off. They have some truth, but just not quite all the way there. It's not fully clear yet. And so God is clarifying this because the whole conversation they've talked about how God's ways are different than man's ways. And we need to do this. And so that principle has been through this conversation, but we're misinterpreting some of that. And so God has been clarifying this with Job now. So we're going to continue on with this clarification, with helping Job understand the real truth of these concepts and ideas. So let's jump in with verse 1. Moreover, the Lord answered Job and said, Shall he that contendeth with the Almighty instruct him? He that reproveth God, let him answer it. That's actually a concern that's come up. Who are you to tell God what to do, Job, is what his friends have said. And God says right here, who can tell God what to do? Let him speak up. So he's challenging that. Verse 3, Then Job answered the Lord and said, so this is Job's turn to respond. Behold, this is verse 4, Behold, I am vile. What shall I answer thee? I will lay mine hand upon my mouth. Once have I spoken, but I will not answer. Yea, twice, but I will proceed no further. So Job's going, I don't know what to say, God. I can't. Man, my eyes are open. I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss for words for this whole thing. Verse 6, Then answered the Lord unto Job out of the whirlwind and said, Gird up thy loins now like a man. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me. Wilt thou also disannul my judgment? Wilt thou condemn me, that thou mayest be righteous? Hast thou an arm like God, or canst thou thunder with a voice like him? Deck thyself now with majesty and excellency, and array thyself with glory and beauty. Cast abroad the rage of thy wrath, and behold every one that is proud, and abase him. So that's kind of humbling other people. Verse 12, Look on every one that is proud, and bring him low, and tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together, and bind their faces in secret. Then will I also confess unto thee that thine own right hand can save thee. Now this is really interesting because it's not saying, hey, you had the power the whole time to save yourself. You could have done this any time. What he's saying here is, uh, and I can't say I fully comprehend everything that's all the wisdom that God is telling Job, but he's basically telling Job, look, get up out of the wallowing, stop wallowing, work on doing good things, keep working. Don't just sit here and go, why me all the time. Get up, work, help people to overcome their sins and problems, basically. So that's kind of what he is saying there. And he says, and I'll show you through this that you had the power to improve your situation. So rather than sit here and wallow in misery, get up and go. Help people. Verse 15, Behold now Behemoth, which I made with thee, he eateth grass as an ox. So Behemoth is this big entity, which I made with thee. He eateth grass as an ox. He's out, in the pasture eating. Lo, now his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly. He moveth his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together. So this is an idea of like a large bison, huge, massive animal. If you've ever been near bison, they're intimidating. They're just big, big bags of muscle and bone. They're pretty crazy animals. His verse 18, his bones are as strong pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron. He is the chief of the ways of God. He that made him can make his sword to approach unto him. Surely the mountains bring him forth food, where all the beasts of the field play. He lieth under the shady trees, in the covert of the reed and fens. The shady trees cover him with their shadow. The willows of the brook compass him about. Behold, he drinketh up a river, and hasteth not. He trusteth that he can draw up Jordan into his mouth. He taketh it with his eyes. His nose pierceth through snares. So he's kind of using this idea of, I take care of my creations. I help them out. I influence them and work with them. Basically, is kind of what he's getting at. And he's going to continue that in the next chapter. So let's jump over to there to continue this analogy from God.